2, 1. Okay. Great. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. It's working. That's great. And if you have just the obvious thing to take in mind, if you have any mobile phone around you or any notifications on your laptop, just to turn them off, please. Thank you. Okay, so I am going to start getting people in so they can connect their microphones. We have a few from Israel because we have some Hebrew names.
Okay.
Welcome to everyone who is joining us. Welcome, welcome. We are also transmitting live to YouTube. Welcome, Saleh. We have some new names here in Nurit. Welcome. Hadassah, Lorena, bienvenida. We have a few phone names, iPhone and Galaxy. We don't know who you are, but you can rename yourself if you want to let us know who you are. You can do that.
We accept Android and iOS.
Yeah, we accept those. Great, so just while you join us, we're going to give a few more minutes for people to join us. Oh, right, we have the iPhone user is Cynthia. Great. Hi, Cynthia, welcome. Okay, welcome, Anya. Oh, she can't hear us yet. Let's see, people connecting. Okay, welcome, Anya. And welcome, Toby.
Hi,
Oh,
Toby.
new names, great.
Oh, Lorena, we have Lorena. Buenos noches, Lorena.
Lorena, yes, from Israel, Beersheba. Great. So this meeting is being recorded and posted onto YouTube. So if anyone that maybe you invited and wasn't able to make it, we will circulate the link. You can ask the person who invited you for the link. And just some other housekeeping things. This whole session we will start in 2 minutes will be in English. So I will just make a quick comment in Spanish in case we have any Spanish speakers that joined by mistake. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Carolina. Si te has unido a esta sesión, pero no entiendes inglés, esta sesión solo va a ser en inglés. Entonces habla con la persona que te invitó y pídeles que te pasen o un video o una invitación para el próximo evento en español. Okay. So we will be answering questions at the end of this session. So do stay until the end. So you can ask questions and you can do that by unmuting your microphone or raising your hand digitally. You can, if you're on a laptop, you can click participants. And when you list your name, you have an option at the bottom of the box, raise hand. Great. What else do we have to mention at the beginning? We will be giving, if you are in the UK, we will be giving out some free samples if you answer a few very easy questions. So unfortunately for those in other countries, we won't be able to get them to you, but if you are in the UK, you can unmute your microphone or write in the chat the answer to the question. And the first person who answers will receive a free sample in the post of an essential oil. Great. So we have a few people. This Galaxy S20 person hasn't been able to connect their audio. They've been on here for a while. So if you know who that person is, their name is Galaxy S20 5G. Okay, well, we're going to start. So welcome. My name is Caroline Giraldo, and I am very glad to be here. One of the things that excites me most is to spend time with my family and serving my local church. But the next thing is teaching about essential oils, because I love to see how this impacts people's lives like yours. So I've been using essential oils for the last 3 years, and it's changed my life. But before I continue with my story, I have a guest here. Her name is Kimmy, and Kimmy is joining us today. She is an American Israeli who owns a tour company. I'm just going to put her on our spotlight so people can see her. There we go. And Kimmy owns a tour company with her husband in Jerusalem. And Kimmy works with midwives, introducing them to essential oils. She herself is a young mother of 4 children who uses essential oils from doTERRA herself. And she has a very interesting story to share with us. Please, Kimmy, go ahead. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hello to everyone. Yeah, I started using essential oils, I think around 6 or 7 years ago. It's now been a little while. But honestly, I think the first time were when my son, he's now 6.5, but especially when he was young, I started being more thoughtful, I guess, of natural solutions and things. I thought a little bit more about my kids and when they were babies. So that was when I started learning more about, actually my mom was already using it in the States and other friends, essential oils, and started introducing me to them. And, you know, I was amazed at the things I was able to use quickly, even, you know, with babies, from teething to even if they're colicky, helping them relax to go to sleep. My kids, they know where the essential oils are, the roller bottles already. They can go to the cabinet and go get them. They're old enough now. If they have cuts or scrapes, they say, okay, go get the purple bottle or go get the green bottle. And they just go and put it on themselves. Or if it's winter season, they know, okay, go get the On Guard or the roller bottle, and they put it on their feet, or even oregano before they go to bed at night or first thing in the morning, just as like a preventative, and especially at schools and guns when you know, all kinds of viruses tend to go around in the wintertime. But specifically for me personally, I also really love for the labor and delivery part to go through such a hard time. But I would take, I'm sorry I don't have it with me right now, but it's actually a doTERRA has a keychain, and you can put 8 little vials in there. And they're really like 8 of the most basic ones. And for 3 birds, I had doulas, and I would tell them, I said, okay, you have to use these oils, and I'll just tell you which one to grab and when. And so sometimes if I just really needed to relax or calm down, I'd say, could you please just pull out the lavender? And they would maybe massage my feet, or sometimes I would just inhale it. Even when the contractions were really picking up, if I just would take a deep breath of the lavender, honestly, it just helped me to calm down. Because sometimes the midwives would say, oh, Kimmy, you need to relax. You need to relax. I was doing these naturally too. That's but they would say, you need to take a deep breath. And so I would just, you know, inhale it. When the nausea would kick in the really active labor, immediately I would go to the peppermint. And sometimes I even just put it on the cuffs of my hands. And I would just put it in my face, and I would just breathe in deeply. And I'm not kidding, but all 3 times, like, sorry for saying it, but I feel like I was going to vomit every time. But as soon as I start smelling this, the nausea went away every time. So not one time did I actually vomit, praise God. So, but these are simple things that really helped me a lot. And even after birth things, and sometimes healing, and I'm not going to share all these things, but there were lots of oils that were extremely helpful, and even just to help me go to sleep at night, or I'm sleeping in the hospital, just to be able to relax more. Even the lavender sometimes, and putting on my pillow, or even just sometimes here. And you know, but I'll just share one quick testimony though of how powerful the oils are. With my son, this was 2 years ago, so he was like 4.5, 5. I found out later it was actually scarlet fever that he had. And I'll be honest, I'm not anti-doctor or anything like that, but I don't remember the last time I've had to take my kids to see a doctor. It's been years, simply because I'll just use oils on them, and whatever it is, it goes away. And sometimes I may need to, to try something different, just like doctors, they may say, oh, we'll try this instead. That's not working. So, and I learned that through other people like Jody and others on our team. And I say, hey, what's working? And I get great advice. But this one time, my son, I knew he probably had something close to strep throat, and scarlet fever it's a more, I guess, glorified version of strep throat. But I didn't know that's what it was at the time, but he would say, Mommy, it hurts so bad to swallow, and he had really bad fevers. And so I started doing things, the On Guard, the oregano, and I would even apply stuff to the bottoms of the feet. And I don't need to go into all these things of how they apply, but more so important, the testimony of it by using these oils. And he would immediately, when I would put stuff on his throat, he would say, Mommy, I can swallow again, or it doesn't hurt when I swallow. I say, okay, good, good. Well, I didn't know, but I was thinking, maybe he's kind of, getting rid of this. And sometimes I'm a little more relaxed with my sister's children to still, if they're a little sick, we may still let them be around each other. And I probably shouldn't have that day, but apparently that day he passed on what he had to my nephew. And my sister, she wasn't so into the oils. And so, but when he got really sick, she took him to the doctor, and he had scarlet fever and started on the antibiotics immediately. But so my son had the same exact thing, but he didn't have to take any antibiotics and got over it fairly quickly. So to me, that was a huge thing, something that powerful like strep throat that it makes me feel more confident, knowing that you feel more empowered as a mother, and to not all of a sudden worry or feel like, oh my goodness, or I have to make an appointment, or I have to be inconvenienced to rush to the doctor or something. But to know that God has given us these tools already that can be in the home at all times. And sometimes it just takes time to learn how to use these different things. But I'm super, super thankful for these oils.
Thank you.
It's really been a blessing to our family.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. I know you could just be with us for a few minutes, but thank you so much for those powerful testimonies of your own life and how you've also been a real help to others. So thank you very much. Great. So for those who have just joined us, this is Introduction to Essential Oils. My name is Caroline Giraldo, and I will be teaching you my objective for this session will be just for you to remember the 3 cool things about essential oils. If you leave this session knowing these 3 cool things, and you can go and tell them to someone else, that I will be happy with that. Because I believe that what we will speak about today, just as Kimmy was saying, is not just a learning experience. It will be something that will change your life, your family, and your generations to come. So at the end of this class, we will be receiving any questions and answers. Now, I would like to just share a bit about my story, just as Kimmy did hers. My experience with essential oils I've had many, but I would just like to point out one. Although I was born and raised in the UK, I'm now living in Colombia, South America. And every winter when I was in the UK, I would suffer from throat infections. And if I didn't wear a scarf when I would go out to the street, it would be very common that I would start with an infection. So what was my surprise when I got off the plane 1.5 years ago to settle here in Colombia, that 3 days later, effectively, I had started with a throat infection. And as we know, nowadays you can catch many things on a plane that will then result with you feeling sick. So I got on the phone with Jody, who will speak to us later. And I said, Jody, what essential oils can I use? And she recommended On Guard, which Kimmy just mentioned, frankincense and oregano. And it's what we call the balm. We combined those 3, and they immediately started to work on my throat. Just like Kimmy's son, I started to feel that the inflammation came down. And after a few days, I stayed away from any medication. I wanted to really see what these oils could do. And effectively, after about 4 or 5 days, excuse the expression, but spit out a big piece of phlegm. I hadn't seen that much come out of my throat before, and I was amazed. Literally, the oils had ripped out the phlegm and the infection and everything that I had on there. So that really impacted me. And for a second, just think what these oils could do for you the next time that you have a cold, a flu, infection with one person in your family. So let's now go into the 3 cool things about essential oils. And for that, I'm going to use a visual aid. So I'm going to share my screen. And there you should see the 3 cool things about essential oils. So we're going to start with the first one. The first one is that, I'm just going to zoom in here, is that they are safe. So the doTERRA essential oils have nothing added to them. They have no fillers. They're just simply the pure essential oils. No side effects, no addictions. They're safe for babies, as Kimmy said, for children, adults, and elderly. These oils are extracts from plants that have amazing health benefits. And a pure oil is about 50 to 70 times more powerful than the herbs themselves. So for example, 1 drop of peppermint is equivalent to you drinking 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they are very, very potent. And I have here peppermint oil, and peppermint is great, as you see just further down here, for relieving head tension. So when I have a headache, I just literally dab my finger on the top of the oil. I don't even need a whole drop, and I will put them on the sides of my head, and I would immediately feel that refreshing sense of peppermint going into my head and taking out that headache. It's worth saying that if you ever get an essential oil close to your eye or in any area that could be very sensitive, oil and water don't mix. So the way of relieving that that sensation is with another oil, usually a carrier oil like coconut oil. So that's important to say as we mention the use of oils. What I love about essential oils from doTERRA is that they're certified pure and therapeutic grade. That means that these oils are pure and potent, pure because they don't have any foreign contaminants or fillers, and potent because each plant, for example, the peppermint's being grown in the area of the world where it grows best, resulting in the best chemistry from that plant. And that is in a bottle for you to benefit from. So the first cool thing about essential oils is they are 100% natural and safe. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. And here I'm going to ask the first question. Is there anyone that joins us from the UK that hasn't purchased an essential oil before from doTERRA, and they would like to answer this first question for the prize of a free sample sent to them? So the first question is, what is the first cool thing about essential oils? You can lift your hand up, you can open your microphone, or you can write to us in the chat if you're in the UK. Anyone? I know a few people are biting their tongue, but they're not in the UK. So would anyone like to have a chance at that? What's the first cool thing we just mentioned about essential oils?
Oh, Salia.
Yeah, do we have Salia?
Let's see some hands there.
So it's 100% natural.
Well done, Salia. That's right. It's 100% natural. So Salia's won herself a sample of peppermint that we'll be sending you in the post. Wonderful. Okay. Well done.
Yay.
We'll continue then now with the second cool thing about essential oils, and that is that they are effective. So if you ask any, we're going to do a biology 101 session, okay? Let's say this is the cell of my body, right? This fist. And we know that cells have an oily membrane around them. The cell membrane protects that cell and keeps all the good things inside and all the bad things out. Now, there are 2 things that are harmful to cells: bacteria and viruses. Bacteria usually form on the outside of the cell, and viruses usually form on the inside. So just remember, bacteria on the outside, viruses on the inside. Now, let's say you went to the doctor with a bacterial infection. What would they usually do? Give you an antibiotic and tell you to take it for 7 to 10 days. And then that will clear up the infection. But if you go to your doctor and you tell them that you've got a virus, a cold or a flu, what will they say? Well, the most modern recommendations are water-based synthetic agents. We said that virus was where? On the inside, and we have an oily membrane around the cell. So nothing that's water-based will get through that oily membrane. That's why your doctor will usually tell you to wear it out, let the virus wear out, you know, just bear it, go home, have hot tea with lemon and just wear it out. But essential oils are oil-based, which means that they can permeate, as you see on this picture, the cell. You can see the waves, that's the essential oil. Because it's oil-based, it will penetrate that membrane and work at a cellular level without side effects or addictions. So they can combat both bacteria on the outside and prevent the duplication of viruses on the inside. That's why they're so effective. So I would like to stop sharing the screen and ask if there's anyone in the UK who would like a free sample in addition to Salea, if they can answer what is the second coolest thing about essential oils that we just said. If you're in the UK, Hadassah, are you in the UK? Would you like to answer this question?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I raised my hand last time when you opened it up for everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Okay.
definitely in Israel. That's fine, sweetie.
I'll go ahead and send them to Israel.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we can take them.
Okay, so Hadassah, go ahead then. Would you like to tell us what's the second coolest thing about essential oils for a free sample since you're in Israel? Wow.
That they're very effective. They're completely effective. Yes?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much. That's the right answer. Number 2, effective. That's right. And here we have On Guard, which Kimmy mentioned. It's a unique mixture that doTERRA puts together. It's an oil that promotes the healthy immune function. So in these present times, I can tell you there's been a sellout of this oil from doTERRA for obvious reasons. So let's move on to the third coolest thing about doTERRA essential oils, and that is that they are affordable. So perhaps you have paid medical care in your country, or perhaps you don't. Perhaps you might just, I know in the UK when I grew up, I had to pay at least a minimum contribution towards my prescriptions. But perhaps if you're retired, you don't. Well, in any case, if, for example, someone in your family has an ear infection, we would just rub 2 drops of lavender and 2 drops of melaleuca around their ear and put them to bed. 12 hours later, the infection's cleared up. And it costs about pennies for drops of each. I would say, I've got it here in cents, but I think it's about 50p or something like 50 cents of a euro. But then how much would it actually cost you if you went for a prescription to your doctor? Maybe it would cost you £8-9 or 10-15 euros, or maybe it's even free. But how much would it cost you in time and money to go and visit your doctor, take out time out of work, or spend time having to leave your other children with someone to care for them while you take one of your children to the GP or to your doctor? Well, this is the advantage. You have your essential oils at home. You are prepared for anything that happens. As Kimmy was saying, her children are even trained now. I know what color the bottle is for what I'm feeling, if I have a cut, if I have a wound, if I have a headache, right? So that's why the essential oils save you money and time. I would say up to hundreds of pounds, not just because of that, but if they actually give you an antibiotic for what you're feeling, then you've got to buy probiotics, right? To replenish the good bacteria that the antibiotic has removed to try and fight the infection. So now I would like to ask for anyone in the UK or Israel, if they know what the third coolest thing about essential oils is. If you haven't bought, this is a question and an offer, if you haven't bought essential oils, doTERRA ones before, and if you haven't answered a previous question. So you can open your microphone, speak to us on the chat, or raise your hand digitally. What's the third coolest thing about essential oils if you're in Israel or if you're in the
It's
UK?
effective.
Yes, Joseph McGann. Oh,
Affordable. Sorry, I'm Rotem.
Rotem, how are you? Great, Rotem, well done. You have one yourself.
Inexpensive, it's affordable.
They're affordable, that's right. They are affordable. So we can give you a sample of lavender, and for Asa, I believe it was the previous person, we have a sample of On Guard for you. I would just like to say I have seen the very effective response of lavender. I've used it on my uncle. I'm just looking here for a photo so you can see my uncle. My uncle has Down syndrome. There he is. He is severely mentally retarded. He doesn't speak, and he's under a lot of medication, both psychiatric, if I said that right, psychiatric medication, and he has hypothyroidism. He has a very complicated medical history, and he was having trouble sleeping at night. So we decided with my auntie to try some lavender on him, both as a foot soak and rubbing it on the bottom of his feet and down his spine. And his nurse that cares for him during the night says she is amazed. She's been his nurse for 5 years. And she says, I've never seen him so relaxed and just sleeping the whole night through. So we're really pleased that the oils can work even just topically. He's not ingesting them because we didn't want them to create any conflict with any existing medications. So just topically, they're really causing a great change in him. So now I'd just like to move to the 3 ways of using essential oils, and I've already mentioned one of them, which is topically, but let's kick off now from aromatic. So aromatic is when you use a diffuser like this one, and a diffuser is that which you fill with water and you connect it, and it brings out a bit of a mist, and you can put essential oils inside so that it diffuses the essential oil. So to illustrate this point, I want you to take your fingers and pinch the top of your nose really hard. Do that now. Pinch your nose. Can you feel that? Ow. That's because you have your smell nerves right there. And that's how sensitive your nose is. If you've ever had to have an anesthetic, I had once a colonoscopy and I had to have anesthetic, and that was administered through a mask. And the hospital, they usually tell you count to 10 if you get to 10. And I thought, oh yes, I'm not feeling sleepy at all. By the time I was at 5, I was out. Why is that? Because our smell goes straight, whatever we smell goes straight to our brain. And if it can happen with an anesthetic, I can assure you it will happen with an oil as well. So that's the benefit of using essential oils when you just smell them. And now we move on to topical. So topical is when you can apply it to the affected area. As I mentioned, I apply the lavender to the bottom of the feet because it's a great way of the oil being absorbed into all the nervous system of the body. And we usually use a carrier oil. doTERRA does fractionated coconut oil, which means that it's always in liquid form. According to their research, is the best carrier oil that will potentialize and allow all the power and the potency of the essential oil to permeate the skin and reach every cell of the body. And the third way of taking essential oils is internally. So I have here a veggie cap or an empty capsule, if you can see that. And it's very simple. You open a capsule. I'm just going to use some On Guard. And I'm going to pour a couple of drops in the capsule. You can mix all kinds of oils because they won't cause any harmful effects even if they're taken together. But I'm just, because of our time, I'll just put one oil in there, take it with a bit of water, swallow that in, and that will immediately be absorbed by the body as it's digested. You can also use it under your tongue, but it's a great way for people who are very sensitive in their taste and they don't like certain essential oils, or some like oregano that are very strong. You'd usually put them in a capsule, and that way you can take them internally. And just wanted to mention here, we have a few other oils from doTERRA with their benefits. If you'd like a copy of this, because of time, we have so much more things that we want to share with you. I won't go through each individually, but there is practically between the 10 foundational oils of doTERRA, we can treat 80% of sicknesses and conditions, from allergies to seasonal threats to infections. And this is just with 10 oils, and doTERRA has produces hundreds. So it really, they've condensated, really we see the power of essential oils here. And just before I pass on to Ruth, I just want to share about frankincense. So this oil, frankincense, is what they call the king of the oils. We know that frankincense was one of the oils that the 3 wise men gave to Jesus, Yeshua, when he was born. Well, if I would tell you that frankincense is not just the king of the oils, but it's because it's called that king because it will help the cells of the body perform optimally. It's amazing. And I just wanted to share another testimony of my uncle. He was diagnosed with tinnitus from the doctor, and the doctor said that there was no cure. The only thing that could be done is to distract him. For those who don't know what the condition is, it's when you have a constant beeping noise in your ears, especially when there's a lot of silence. You'll hear that noise continually, very annoying, and can, for him in his condition, it distresses him. So one evening, my auntie knocked at the door of my room and said, your uncle's distressed. He's putting his fingers in his ears. He's really distressed, and it's obviously his tinnitus. Is there any oil that we can use? So I quickly looked onto an app that is called Essential Oils or Essential Life, and looked up there the condition, tinnitus, and it said several oils, and I looked at which one I had on hand, which was frankincense. So I gave it to her, gave her a bit of coconut oil. It's always good to, on children and those with delicate skin conditions, to dilute them. And she was extra preventative. She didn't want to put any of the oil around his ear because he was getting on his fingers and then put those in his mouth. So she just decided to get a bit of coconut oil, 1 drop of frankincense, and just rub it right this area here on both ears. And she was amazed. 2 minutes later, he was completely calm. So clearly the oil, even in this external area, had gone to the area of need and calmed down completely the symptoms. So she was amazed. And since then she said, right, I believe this is real. I'm going to keep using these oils. So now I would like to invite Ruth. Please share with us your experience. How did you come to know and to use essential oils?
Okay, Jody introduced me to essential oils about 2 years ago. Back then, I did not like essential oils. I didn't really have anything kind to say about them either. I just never heard a testimony about anyone that essential oils had helped. In 2014 and in 2016, I had a severe allergic reaction to pharmaceuticals. Both of them, I almost died. It was then that I started to research on natural solutions. And I came to the conclusion that I believed that food could be my medicine and medicine would be my food. And when I was searching, then I always kept hearing the essential oils in each protocol that people were giving, and all these, I watched a lot on YouTube and everything, but I kept pushing it away. I thought, oh, I don't like them and I don't like the smell and I can't afford them anyway. But when my mom became bedridden about 2 years ago, she got a mysterious itch on her back that kept her awake all night long. She would roll in her bed like she just could not sleep. So we tried all kinds of things. We tried all kinds of lotions. We tried pharmaceuticals, and nothing had helped. And then I thought about this recipe that I had heard of online, which contained lavender essential oil. So I went to my neighbor, whose smell I didn't used to like, and I asked her, where do you get your essential oils from, and how do I get them? And because this person that put the recipe online, they said, make sure you get certified pure therapeutic grade of oils and not just something off the shelf in a pharmacy or a grocery store. So I knew I had to do a search. Well, she directed me to Jody, and now I go to Jody and I say, Jody, I'm only buying one oil. I only want a lavender to try. I'm not interested in anything else. I don't like the smell and I'll never diffuse them in my home, nor will I ever wear them. But Jody, she wanted me to try the 10 foundational oils. So I bought these like little 5 milliliter bottles and I went home and I told my husband, I spent a lot of money and these oils are going to last me for about a year. Well, I took this recipe, I made it for my mom, and I was so amazed. Within less than 2 weeks, her back was completely healed. She could sleep at night. And the other interesting thing that happened is that her blood pressure went down like way too low. Well, she was on blood pressure medication. And in the morning when she woke up, her blood pressure was fine. But then she would get this lavender on her back after I showered her, and the blood pressure would go down way too low. So they kept cutting back medication, and now she's completely off her blood pressure medication. And that was like something that we weren't trying for. We were just, it happened. So then we tried different oils on her for the aches in her bones and for for her when she was restless at night and all these things. And she's so happy now. She's off most of her medication, except for a painkiller they give her in the morning for I don't know what, but I can't mix into everything in the old age home where she lives. So I just let them do that one thing. And the rest we take care of with oils. And she's going to be 89 years old in September. Well, since then, we've had so many miracles with the oils. My husband, shortly after I got them, he got a bad flu. So we tried the On Guard, oregano, and frankincense, what we call the balm. And within hours, the diarrhea just was cut, and it was just amazing. Like I couldn't believe that this was happening. So I tried it for my headaches. And since I was allergic to most medications, I was amazed that I don't need medication anymore. Like I don't even need to have a little bit, nothing. I can just use the oils. And then my very first frankincense that I received as a gift in January last year, I had on hand, and my niece, she had a tumor growing on her spine. Now she's a young mother. She had a baby of 1 year old, and this tumor was on the bone and it was piercing her spinal cord. And so I take this bottle of frankincense and I hand it over to her and I say, please try this. And I gave her copaiba with it and I believe DDR prime. Well, she started on lifelong vitality. And by the second round of lifelong vitality and the cleanse from doTERRA, together with frankincense, she went for her MRI and she had told me before that, I feel like there's something happening in my body. I feel like my body's getting rid of something. And 2 weeks later, she wrote that the tumor had completely disappeared and the hole in her spinal cord had been healed. And like those were really like eye openers for me that I did not, like I could not grasp it. It was just something too good. So yeah, now I work as a early childhood educator in a daycare, and I am starting to just share the oils with my family and friends, and they're just thriving on it. I'm so happy that I found Jody and that I found essential oils, and that we have each other to ask questions when we're in need. We have these Zoom calls, and we can just say, you know, I have this person with this problem. And we share it with each other, and we have all these special people that have learned so much and can share their wisdom with us and help us along the way.
Thank you, Ruthie. Thank you for just such a powerful testimony. Just to make a very important note, when we speak about ingesting oils, we are only speaking about doTERRA essential oils because we know that they are therapeutic grade. This is just a caveat here to say, please don't ingest other make of oils because we can't guarantee their quality. There are certain oils or makes of oils that aren't this grade and can contain toxins. Okay, thank you so much, Ruthie. I would like to now hand over to Jody. Jody was a certified national healthcare professional She has more than 45 years experience and more than 35 certifications in this field of natural healthcare. She ran her private practice for more than a decade, treating more than 1,000 clients in Florida, USA, before moving to Israel in 2010. One of the methods that she used to discover why people were sick was live blood cell analysis, the ability to analyze live blood under a microscope. Now she's consulting in Israel and helping people all over the world. Jody, welcome.
Shalom. Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here and happy to share with you some of the things that I've discovered. And, you know, when I first heard about essential oils, I thought, well, what's the big deal? You know, it's another stream, another thing to learn. And I had been involved in natural health care for over 30 years at that time. And so I played around a little bit with them, but I wasn't too involved in essential oils at all. And then later, when we moved to Israel, I ended up discovering not only the essential oils, but the Lifelong Vitality Pack. I actually started with doTERRA because of the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I have a nutritional background and 35 certifications. So I know basically what's out there. And when I saw how the Lifelong Vitality Pack was put together with the supplements and the antioxidants and the omega-3 fatty acids, I thought, this is a no-brainer. Sign me up. I'm in. And we took the supplements. My husband and I took the supplements for about a year before we even thought about the oils. And the lady that introduced me is Amy Huffman, and Amy came to Israel and did a little class for us. And then I learned all, you know, how special these oils really were. And I took some oils that I had brought to Israel with me, and I compared the smell. Oh my gosh. So, and I brought a lot of oils with me because I thought I will use them in some ways, but it ended up that now I wash my floors with those oils. And but the essential oils are a whole nother world. And I would like to share with you, I would like to share my screen with you and show you some of the things that I was discovering and why I'm now working with essential oils, now that I've learned how they were working and why they're so potent and penetrating our immune cells. So, and our blood cells. I'm sorry, let me see how I get this out of the way. Okay, let me move this. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yep, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So in the Wellness Center, we had clients coming in, and I used a lot of different modalities in helping people discover why they had symptoms. So rather than, you know, look for, you know, classifications of diseases, we wanted to see what the root of the problem could possibly be. So one of the things I did is I went to 2 schools for what's called dark field microscopy, and that's how to analyze the blood under a microscope, a dark field microscope. And so I'd like to show you some pictures of what I was discovering and how this changed my life by learning how to analyze blood. We are all in a battle, whether we realize it or not. Every single day, our bodies are in battle, and we are in battle with all kinds of viruses and bacterial forms and fungal forms, yeast forms. And, you know, quite often there's a lot of connection with our diet. And so let me see where I can, how do I change the screen? Yeah. I think I can go this way. Oh, down here, I see
Oh, the
it now.
bottom, yeah, the arrows.
I'm learning, you guys.
Well done.
This grandma is learning how to be more techie. So yes, this is a dark field microscope, and you see a camera, and then you can put it up on a laptop screen, or we had actually a larger screen in my office. And it's very interesting to look at what's inside the blood. These are your erythrocytes. These are your red blood cells. And so a normal red blood cell looking under the microscope like this is nice and round. And the plasma, of course, is supposed to be clear. And go to the next one. I have to keep changing where this thing is, our pictures here. If I could diminish that there. Okay, now I can move it over here. I'd like to show you normal blood. This is my blood under a microscope, and there's some little food particles bouncing around, but you can see how the blood is round. Blood is not moving. There's no heart pumping the blood. The blood will move according to the lamp and the heat in the on the slide on the microscope. But here you see a white blood cell moving in, and they are granular in nature, and they do move, and they are working like vacuum cleaners. When somebody says we need to boost up our immune system, you're talking about these little guys. And you can see how it's moving around, and it's looking for what it can devour. There's many things that can affect the immune system, including our digestion. If we have poor digestion, we have a lot of food particles, which you're not seeing here, but a lot of food particles that compromise these guys and keep them very busy. So good digestion, what we eat, what we think, that's all a big part of our health picture. So I would sit for hours looking at the blood when I first started studying this science, and it's wonderful. It teaches us a lot. So I'm going to go, oops, I went the wrong way. Next slide. Okay. And then another thing we can see in under the microscope is bacterial forms. This is called a rod form. And there's many different types of bacteria that can get into our bloodstream, and we don't want them in here. They're indicators of a weak immune system, because those beautiful white blood cells, like we just saw, are designed by our creator to engulf those things and devour them. So if we're seeing a good bit of that in the blood, it is not a good sign. Then we want to clean up the blood. We don't want a mucky, toxic swamp. We want a clean flowing river. That's how we want to see our blood. And there's byproducts to these little guys. They eat and they excrete, and so they are giving off toxic byproducts. They can give us all kinds of symptoms, and they can do a lot of damage. This is a beautiful picture. I just love it, of a neutrophil, one of our white blood cells, in action, and it's engulfing a bacterial form, anthrax. It just is devouring it, just surrounded it, and it's going to neutralize it. Isn't that cool? I want to tell you a story, because I had over 1,000 clients come into my office at the Living Well Center in Florida, where I had this office before we moved to Israel. I'm sorry, I'm trying to see where I can put this. We met this woman actually outside my office, and she was bedridden. And I just told her friends, can you just find a way to just bring her into my office? Well, she was bedridden. You can see that she has around her nose and going down the center of her body, you see a little tube there. She's on oxygen 24/7. She has absolutely no energy. She lays in bed all day because she has no power to get up and do things. You can see her eyes are at half mast. They're hardly even open. And she is in a complete exhaustion. So this precious lady, I wanted to really help her, and I wanted to see her live. This was her first visit, and I asked her, I said, you know, besides the seven pharmaceuticals that you're taking from the doctors, and by the way, the doctors told her to get her paperwork ready and prepare herself, because there was no more they could do for her, and that she would not live too long. That was not good news. And they gave her this big long name, and I never could spell real well. So, so I said, what is it? She says it's called ADEM. That's a acronym, and it's lesions on the brain. So what's a lesion? To me, it's like a hole in the brain, and that those lesions were causing her lungs not to be able to work. So she couldn't hardly breathe without an oxygen tank. When I looked at Elaine's blood, this is what I saw. And they say that bacteria doesn't go into the red blood cells, but I beg to differ just a little bit, because there are certain forms that do. And what you see in this picture here All right, you see these little things pulling their way out of the nice round red blood cells, these little lines here, making them look like balloons. Those are actually living, squirming, squiggly bacterial forms. They're microscopic. You wouldn't see them with the naked eye. And if somebody tells me, even people who maybe even do a different type of a blood analysis, they would say, well, blood is sterile. And I look at them and I say, oh yeah? I don't think so. So I've been studying this a long time, and I looked at enough blood to make my eyeballs cross. So Elaine had these in every blood cell of her body. And what we're seeing here, I'm going to show you blood after it has sat on the slide under the microscope. I'm going to show you some of what, and this is blood that has broken down a little bit, and you can begin to see, this is a very sick person, you can begin to see the sterile blood here, which is not sterile. So you'll see bacterial forms, you'll see things wiggling and squirming, and these lines here. This is definitely a person who's battling, and even you can see Borrelia in a lot of people. That is Lyme's disease. That these things hide inside the red blood cells, and the white blood cells cannot engulf them because they're inside. So I just realized that when somebody has a picture like this, and you can see these forms, these are bacterial forms. When somebody has a picture like this in their blood, and some of these things like this looks like an octopus, it's more advanced form mutations within the cells, which is not good. We won't go into that. That's a whole lesson in and of itself. But we want to see the blood cleaned up. And so I'm going to go ahead and go out of here. This is Elaine, the same lady you saw just a little while ago. I asked Elaine, I said, Elaine, would you like to get rid of those little squirmy things you see in your blood? And she said, yeah. I said, Elaine, does your blood go to your brain? And she said, yes. I said, so if those are bacterial forms and they can burrow into not only tissue, but they can even burrow into bone, could those cause ADEM, lesions on your brain? Possibly. She said, I think so. I said, well, how'd you like to get rid of those little suckers? So she said, yes. So we went to work, and she got on a natural protocol off of all her pharmaceuticals here. Her energy is back, and she is beginning to be a very, very happy camper. I'm going to show you Elaine after 8 months of walking into my office. She's in her 60s. She's working out in a gym an hour a day, feeling fantastic, and bringing in people who look more like her when she first came to me. So this is the story. And one of the reasons why I'm using essential oils quite a bit as I look to help people to detoxify their body and clean up their blood is because the essential oils are, the molecular structure is so tiny that it can permeate the outer layer of the cell membrane, which is fatty. Essential oils are oily, they're fatty, and they can permeate into the cell where we want them to do their work. And this is one of the great reasons why I have chosen to work with essential oils, and especially doTERRA, because of their therapeutic level. I want to know for sure that I'm working with oils that have a high enough level of plant chemicals that they're going to actually be effective. And we have a guarantee with doTERRA because they batch test every sample. And this is a sample here of how fast essential oils work. And after this video clip, it represents a sample 30 minutes after applying 1 drop of an oil blend called Balance essential oil on this side of the screen, you can see the blood. We call this erythrocyte aggregation. Basically, it's blood sludge and blood clumping. When the blood gets too thick, it actually cannot get nutrition, cannot get oxygen, and has a hard time with movement. And so energetically, you're impacted, and also the glands and the organs, tissues of the body are affected. 1 minute after balance was applied to the soles of the feet, this is how the blood looked under a test, under a microscope. And so just one drop can service every single cell in your body. How fast do essential oils work? Well, in 22 seconds, they reach the brain. So if you take one drop, either on the soles of your feet, or you apply them to the skin because the skin absorbs everything you put on it, or you can take most of the oils actually internally in a glass of water or in a capsule like Caroline showed us. And in 22 minutes, it's in your brain. In 2 minutes, it's found in your bloodstream. And in 20 minutes, it's in every cell of your body. And that is really, really great news. So this is the reason why I have chosen to work with the essential oils now, as well as nutrition, and seeing real breakthroughs with my clients. And I'm very, very thankful that we have these oils from all over the world. One of the things that Caroline said is that the oils are grown where the origin of the plant is, where the soil is perfect for that plant, so that the plant itself, or the tree or the bark or whatever they're deriving the oil from, can have the level of plant chemicals that it takes to make it like a beautiful God-made medicine, is what I say. I call them. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to share with you, and I hope to meet some of you in the future. So Caroline, I'm giving it back to you.
Thank you very much, Jody. Thank you, although we can't clap and you can hear us, but we're clapping. Great. So I want to now tell you what are the ways that you can purchase essential oils. So we're going to go back to this slide here. And I'm going to move on to this slide here. There's 3 ways to purchase essential oils. Oh, there we go. Oops. Okay. And while I speak to you about this, I am going to put a link on the chat to 3 forms. There we go. There is a form if you are in the UK, there's a different form if you're in Europe or Israel, and there's a different form if you're in the USA or, oh, sorry, that was supposed to say Canada. It says Canada. And if you fill in this form, you will be able to get a free copy of this material that I'm showing you here that we spoke about earlier. And you have an opportunity also, if you want a sample, to please give us your details by filling in that form so that we have your postal address. And that's a way for you to keep in contact with us, to be able to get details of the YouTube link that we are, where this teaching is being recorded. So back to the oils. 3 ways to purchase. First way is retail. It's the most expensive way of buying the oils. I'm not going to let anyone that's heard this presentation pay retail, because you would only pay retail if your physiotherapist was selling you an oil. The second way to buy the oils is wholesale. This works like Costco or any membership shopping experience where you buy your membership for the whole year. In the UK, it's 20 pounds. In the US, it's 35 pounds for the first year. And if you fill in that form, you'll see the price relevant to your region. That will give you a 25% discount on every oil from the day one that you buy them. But I don't buy my oils at wholesale price. I buy them at below wholesale price, which is a greater saving than 25%. They waive the membership annual fee, and the below wholesale price is when you buy kits. And I will speak to you about that in a second. I just want to say, as you've been listening to this presentation today, I think you're thinking, this is way more than I had imagined. I thought I would just use an oil for a flu or something, but we're speaking here about serious diseases, right? So our goal is not that you would just buy a peppermint or a lavender. Our goal is to teach you a natural lifestyle so that when things come up, like a flu, like a virus, like an allergy, like a cold, or God forbid, more serious things, you can reach out for natural solutions that will not give you any side effects. So doTERRA puts together kits, and this is the cheapest way below wholesale for you to buy oils than buying them individually. So if you add up the cost of all the oils, the kits always work out cheaper. All kits include the membership, as I just said, and you have everything at your fingertips. So you can replace your medicine cabinet with a kit. So why not take a look at the kits? Here I'm going to show the enrollment kits for Europe and the UK. Our first kit is called the Family Essentials Kit. And as you can see there, this green box includes 10 oils. These are the 10 foundational oils that treat 80% of disease. Includes frankincense, as you can see here, the list. Very common oils that we've already spoken about in this presentation: lemon, lavender that Ruth you spoke about. I spoke about frankincense, peppermint, melaleuca, oregano. We spoke also about the On Guard. So this kit is €115 or £102 excluding VAT in the UK. And this is the perfect kit to replace your medicine cabinet. So the next time you have a tummy ache, a headache, the common things, you have in this kit what you need. Now, this kit is made out of 5 milliliter bottles. That means that each of them contain 80 drops. I now want to show you, there are several other kits that you will see in the form when you fill it, but I'm just going to concentrate on this kit. This was the kit that I bought when I started out in doTERRA. They are the same 10 foundational oils that treat 80% of disease, but they're in 15 milliliter bottles, which means they contain 240 drops. So these, when you think that for a headache you need 1 drop, you're talking about an investment that will last you several months. And they include a diffuser. So that means that when you start out with this kit, you can use your oils in 3 different ways. You can smell them, you can ingest them, or you can use them topically. This kit is priced at €225 or £199. Remember, these are kits, so you're not purchasing your membership. That comes included with this kit. And I now want to pass on to our bestseller, which is the Natural Solutions Kit. This is the best way to try everything doTERRA has, the best sellers of doTERRA. Jody mentioned this one here, the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is a supplement pack. It has 100% guarantee. That means that if you take these vitamins and you don't feel better at the end of the month, they will return your money. I mean, who does that? If you send them the empty bottles, that's how confident they are on their products. So here we have a list of everything this kit contains. And this is the only kit where they give you actually 100 points credits that you can redeem in the future with doTERRA products just for purchasing this kit. So this kit is worth 400 points, and it's like getting a 25% discount because they'll give you 100 points back, and that's priced at €568 or £467. Again, you can find this form in the link that I've just posted in the chat, so you can have a closer look to it. Now I want to get back to this presentation and tell you about the 3 types of people. The 3 types of people that see this kind of presentation that we're giving today. So the first type of person is the one that is excited of living a natural, the wellness lifestyle. One second. Okay, yeah, I'm back to my share screen there. The natural lifestyle is the person that wants to learn about essential oils, and they can't wait to share them with their family. And doTERRA offers free monthly education for this kind of person. There's a second kind of person, and maybe this is you sitting there thinking, wow, my mom needs these oils, my grandma needs them, my neighbor needs them. This is the kind of person that likes to share doTERRA products because they've tried them or because they know that these products can work for them. Well, doTERRA supports this type of person with a generous system of rewards. And as you accumulate those rewards, you can actually purchase your oils for free using your rewards. So the more that you share, the more chances there are that with your points, you will not have to pay anything at all. You get your own oils free because you've shared them with other people. We call this free natural healthcare. You have your healthcare plan paid for. And then there's the third type of person, which is what I'm doing today, and that is building a business. So doTERRA rewards those type of people that want to create a second income stream, that want to work from home. And this is very opportune in the situation that we're in. Maybe in my case, I work as an interpreter, and my job was affected because I couldn't attend any live events or interpret in live events. So now doTERRA is beginning to replace that income, and I can work from home in my own hours. I can put as much hours as I can, as I want into it, or as little as I can. And if you want to know more about this third type of person, in the form, the link that I've just put in the chat, there is a question that says, would you like to get a video of the doTERRA business seminar? We actually did a business seminar talking about all the compensation that doTERRA has to offer. doTERRA has had a growth rate similar to Apple, because doTERRA is the fastest growing essential oil company in the world. And people are joining them because not only do the oils work, they have a great product, but they have great compensation plans. So now, with no further ado, I would like to encourage you to please click on the link of the chat, leave us your details so that we can be in touch with you, and we will then kindly greet and say goodbye to those people that have to leave us, because we did say it would be an hours long. But if you want to stay, if you want to ask a question to Jody, to me, to Ruth, who shared her testimony earlier, then please, this is the moment to do so. You can unmute your microphone, you can use the chat function and write that there. Okay, we have Steffi. Steffi, yes, you can leave us your email on that form. It's the easiest way for us to keep track of everyone. So please click on the link, or more like copy and paste. I know you can't click, so copy and paste that link into your browser. If you're in Israel, then it's the second link. And as soon as you click there, you can leave us your email address, and we will gladly send you the YouTube link of this transmission, the visual aids that I used, and you can let us know how you would like to purchase the oils, and we can help you in that process.
Okay, just a question. Is there also one list for Europe?
Yes, that second link of Europe.
Okay, sorry. Oh my God. Yeah, thank you.
No problem, you're welcome. That will list the kits that are available. And from someone who is messaging us from Israel with lib 22777, please click on the Israel form. Please give us all your details on that form, copy and paste that link, because it will be much easier for us to follow up using those forms rather than the chat function in this video conference.
I don't know if we have any more time, if Abigail has any more time, but I just wanted to introduce Abigail to everybody. Abigail lives here in our neighborhood in Israel, and she's a massage therapist. And I'm so grateful that Abigail has been teaching us some different things. In fact, I learned something from Abigail tonight about one of our products that I had no idea. So do we have time for her to share a little bit?
Please, yes, yes.
Do you have time, Abigail, just to share a little bit?
Okay, I'll take just a minute here, and then I gotta go get my kids to bed. Thank you, Jody, and thank you, Caroline. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Abigail Sapir from Zichron Yaakov. I was also introduced to doTERRA, not essential oils as the oils, but doTERRA itself through Jody. And we are so grateful, eternally grateful to you, Jody, for that. I started using them with my children immediately, and myself and my mother who lives with us. And very quickly that translated into my professional business. I'm a massage therapist. And now I'm using them in every way possible with everyone that comes into my house. So what I was telling Jody today was I had a client today that had a sports injury from football, and his hip flexor was extremely cramped, and mixing my Hebrew in my head with English, and stuck. I'm losing my English. Anyways, he was in a lot of pain and he couldn't lift up his leg or move normally. And usually we're going to use deep blue for a muscle injury. It's anti-inflammatory. And but I know that he's very, very tense emotionally and just like anxious. And so I thought I'll use past tense as well. Past tense is very relaxing and uplifting. It's got this strong minty herbal aroma, and we usually use it. I use it every day on my neck for, again, tension headaches. Just a roll down to my shoulders and down front, and I don't know, 5 minutes, it's gone. So it's not, but we wouldn't usually think to use it elsewhere in the body because tension headaches, past tense, we put our tension in the past, kind of the association is there. But anyways, I used it on the hip flexor along with the deep blue. And by the time he walked out, he was like, he kept lifting his leg up and down. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. I can't believe it. So these are just little things that we happen across every day. And I'm just so grateful, from bruises to, I smashed my hand under a tree trunk, sports injuries. Thank God, like my kids were at the doctor every week some winters. It was just impossible, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. And thank God we're not at the doctor anymore. I can't remember the last time we went. So we are just very, very excited to see this continue to grow into other areas of our lives. We're cleaning with it, we're diffusing it everywhere. And now my 14-year-old daughter is starting to learn how to use the essential oils with animals. So we're going to be really excited to give a class on that in the near future. So that's all for me tonight. Thank you, everyone. And I hope to see more of these faces again.
Thank you, Abigail. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night. Right. So then perhaps before we draw this to a close, do we have any questions for Jody, for Ruthie, for me? This is your chance. You can open your microphone or write to us on the chat.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I do like essential oils and I do use a few. By the way, you said you'd send some lavender. I have a lavender, not of doTERRA, but maybe you could send something else.
Okay, sure.
I was wondering about expiration dates and how long do they last? I mean, if I buy some and some of them have so many drops in the kits, and will they not go bad, So I'm wondering about that.
Very good question. Jody?
The only oils that have a shorter, what we call a shelf life, is the citrus oils. They're more volatile. They can expire more quickly after a good number of months. I keep mine in the refrigerator so they last longer and they're not going to go rancid or anything like that. The other oils last for many years, actually. So I don't think you have to worry about them going bad or spoiling. I've had my oils, for some of them I don't use all the time, and I've had them for years and they smell like the day I opened the bottle. And you keep them in a dark, you don't set them in the sunlight. That's number one. They're all in dark bottles, you'll notice that. And there's a big difference. I challenge you, though, if you get doTERRA lavender oil and you have a lavender oil from another company, I challenge you to get it and smell the difference, because I actually brought with me probably a liter of lavender oil. I purchased it from a company that was well known back in the States, came in a tin can, you know, large tin can. And I thought, oh, I'll probably, you know, make products. And I wasn't sure, but I just felt like I wanted to buy a good bit and bring it with me. And I didn't know what was available here. But when I smelled the difference between doTERRA lavender oil and this other lavender oil, I could not believe, I mean, I really didn't like it so much, but when I smelled doTERRA lavender, I love it. And there's a huge difference in quality. And I don't just say that, you know, because I'm in some kind of a business. I say that out of sincerity, that I really, really can tell the difference and love the smell and the aroma that's coming from the doTERRA oils, as well as the results that we're getting from, you know, using them medicinally. So,
And where is it from? Where do they grow? Where do they grow them?
all the doTERRA oils are grown in their native country. So when we look at lavender, I think we're growing lavender in Bulgaria. And that's the mother country, if you will. Our lemons grow everywhere. They grow here in Israel, they grow in California, but the origin of lemons is in Italy. And that's where we get our lemons. And our lemons, lemon essential oil is not, it is not a juice. It's from the rind, and there's limonene in that rind, and it's in very high levels in the doTERRA lemon oil, which is why it's such a beautiful thing to be able to take in our water, because it's a major detoxification product. So there's a map of the sourcing of doTERRA, and they have went to great lengths to bring the essential oils from all over the world, wherever the native plant is grown, and the soil is perfect for that plant. The plant chemicals are going to be the highest level from that origin. And so we have them coming from all over the world. And if you ever got a chance to go to a doTERRA convention, they even have a webinar coming, you'll hear people speaking from these countries where they're producing the oils, and how we as a company have changed their lives, because we bring, we build roads, we build schools, we build hospitals in the areas where we're getting the oils from. They care for the people. So that was a long answer for a short question. Sorry.
I'm happy to hear that. I love the presentation about the blood. I was fascinated. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have another.
Yeah.
I do have another question. What I do now, I mainly use it as a diffuse. I put it in, I mix it with water, and I light a candle underneath, and we're enjoying to smell it. I do that sometimes. I know it's not therapeutical, but is there any benefit besides just a nice?
Well, if you want to get the full blessing of smelling and inhaling the oils, the oils go through what we call the olfactory, and they do affect the brain instantly, and they get into the blood as well. So when you diffuse oils, we would never recommend anybody to burn an oil, heat an oil like that. We would be very careful to get a cold air diffuser. And so that it's putting a mist into the room. We don't ever want to heat these oils. And so I wouldn't recommend it. If you really want to get the full magnitude and experience oils, you know, in the way that they're intended to be used, I would say invest in at least an inexpensive, what we call a diffuser, and then put it in the mist into the air, and you're breathing it. And whether it's something you just enjoy smelling, or you're wanting to use something therapeutically, like to during the season where little bugs are flying around, we can diffuse things like a product we have called On Guard, which is very antiseptic. And you can diffuse oils that are help with the bronchioles opening up. One called Breathe, or it's also called Air, and it's so refreshing. And my husband, he loves this product so much. either breathe or air, it's the same product, that he actually has a bottle sitting by where he studies. And so he could just open it up and smell. And it just invigorates him, you know, so yeah. I hope that's helpful.
Very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a
Great.
quick question as well. If there's one.
Hi,
more.
Judy.
Hi, good to see you guys. In terms of diffusing, on the same line as Autumn, when you're using a diffuser at night, for example, I heard, like, of course, lavender is more relaxing for deeper sleep. How many drops would you recommend putting in the diffuser? And also, how long would you recommend diffusing it? All night, for a few hours?
Yeah, as long as you can, I think. I put usually 6 or 7 drops in my diffuser, and I run it for at least 6 hours. And I put quite a bit of water, you know, purified water in it, and you're breathing it. It's not like taking 6 drops internally, because it's going into all the air in your room. And so if you want to diffuse in your bedroom, you can put the diffuser fairly close to your bed and diffuse it as long as you like.
Would it be more effective to just put a few drops under your nose, or is there any difference in the way that your body internalizes it?
Well, you know, if you put a few drops under your nose, your body's going to absorb it, you know, quite quickly. You'll see that oils absorb through the skin. Remember, I mentioned earlier that the molecules are so small that they permeate the skin. And a lot of people like to use the lavender oil just under their nose. They smell it and they are relaxed and go to sleep. So it's up to you, you know, how you like it. And, you know, I'm married, and so my husband gets the benefit also if we diffuse the oils when we go to sleep. So
Great.
2 of us have that blessing. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And when you mean, I'm also bouncing off the question of what I see in the chat too, the purified water, is that also okay just through like a regular filter, like through a little Brita filter?
Yeah, I think it's okay. We have a water ionizer, and it goes through 3 filters before we drink it. So yeah.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, Judy. Yeah, I was going to mention Steffi's question, so great for that. We've got that question. Any more questions? Balance, is it just for external use? Steffi's asking. The oil balance, for those who don't know, balance is a proprietary blend from doTERRA of several oils. Whenever you hear certain names like On Guard, Breathe, Balance, don't let it push you off and say, what are they talking about? They're just names that doTERRA gives it when it's not a single essential oil. And Jody is just going to give you some specific information.
Yeah, we have a really wonderful book that I really love working with. Let me see if I can get it in, called The Essential Life Book. And this book,
which is available as an app as well.
Yeah, you can get the app. I use the app all the time on my phone. And I think the app is $4.99, and you have access to everything. I love this book because it really goes into much information. For example, Balance is also called the grounding blend. And this would tell you the chemical constituents. If you really want to study essential oils, you can see the chemical constituents in Balance. And it tells you the uses. It shows you if you can drink it, if you can take it internally, it'll show you a little glass, like an icon with a glass. If it's just topical or aromatic, it shows you those little icons. And so you know with each and every oil and each blend how you're going to use it. Now the Balance I've never taken internally, but it doesn't recommend it either. So you can apply Balance topically, and you can use it aromatically and diffuse it. And just to let you know, just as an example, in this book, what it's used for. You can use it for stress and anxiety. It actually relaxes the central nervous system. You can use it for jet lag and travel anxiety. You can use it for mood swings and stress. You can use it for neurological problems. You can apply it to your neck and your pulse points and the bottom of your feet. You can use it for epilepsy, Parkinson's, and convulsions, and just general tranquility. It seems to really affect the limbic system of the brain. And, you know, it's just a blessing that when we look at the creation, what God has created for us, that he actually created things in nature that we can use and apply to help. Sometimes we can be praying or however you connect, you know, with your creator, whether it's studying scriptures or prayer, but he created also the leaves of the trees for the healing of the nations and medicine. And he gave these to us for mankind's benefit. And I'm always so grateful when I see the things that are here for us that can help even relax us a little bit. I mean, these times, honestly, have been very stressful for many, many people. Many people are struggling, not only just emotionally, but even financially, sometimes physically, being enclosed in a little house, or, you know, having kids that are like climbing the walls. And so we are facing a lot of different things during this season. So I'm very grateful that we have things that can help and support us, and we can just look back up and say, doTERRA.
Thank you, Jody. And just to say, the actual ingredients of balance are a spruce leaf, whole wood leaf, frankincense resin, blue tansy flower, blue chamomile flower, and osmanthus flower, with a base of coconut oil. So you know that what you're getting in there is not a proprietary brand that they won't tell you what's in it. No, they will tell you what essential oils they've put in it.
Yeah, one of the main doctors is Dr. Hill from doTERRA. And Dr. Hill, he lets everybody know what his daily protocol is, what he uses. And one of the first things he starts with is balance on his feet when he gets out of the shower. And I have it right next to my shower, and I also apply it to my feet. So if you look at the blood and you see how it's impacting the blood, in just 20 minutes, it's in every blood cell of your body, all those beautiful oils. And that is just like 2 drops. Pretty amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody. Well, thank you everyone for taking part. Again, if you haven't left us your details so you can keep in touch with us, it's in the chat. There's a form for the UK, one for Europe and Israel, and one for USA or Canada. And we have recorded this session. It's on YouTube. So if there's anyone that you would have said, oh, they should have connected, they should have heard this, then that's a chance. Leave us your details and we will send you the YouTube link, which you can then circulate to your friends. Great. So